a nightmare. Tonight, I'm riding a black unicorn down the side of an erupting volcano, but not without incident. Not without incident. I am so bad. I gotta adjust this. I am so bad at live streaming. I wish I was better at this. I should take a clap. Oh, great. Okay. All right. It's just gonna be that kind of night, I guess. Now, if I could just adjust my tripod. All right. Give me. Who tightened this? Chewbacca? Oh my God. How's that? That's much better. Now is focus. Now we focus. You know what I need? I need a glass of wine. I need a glass of wine. So let me have a glass of wine. Welcome to the Aurelio Voltaire April 2020 video newsletter. Take 2. Because the first take, man, I had it going so nicely. Everything was set. And then, vanity. Vanity. Ah, yes. I was once vain like you. That's how I found my way to the mirror world. Vanity. I didn't like the thumbnail. And it just wasn't taking good thumbnails. I was like, I'm just gonna go to a different tab, open up the camera, take a proper thumbnail, and of course, the minute I went off the tab, the stream disappeared. I could see it as a viewer on my laptop, but I could no longer turn it on to start streaming. So, thank you so much for your patience. And man, my comments aren't moving. It's just oh wow, there's a million of them too. All right, there we go. Now they're happening again. So before we begin, a toast. A toast, in the words of Ali G, to technology. What is it? Technology. Technology hates me, that's for sure. Now this is a video newsletter. Oh, Timothy, thank you very much. You're awesome. Keep up the good work, and I love watching the videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. For those of you who may be new to like the new, let me just shake, rattle, and roll this a bit more. The new sort of setup over here. These things used to be recorded, pre-recorded, and then played, and then I started doing them live. And when I do them live, if it's a video news, there's Q&As and there's video newsletters. Excuse me. And the Q&A is pretty clear. You ask questions and I answer them. The video newsletter is like a State of the Spooky Union address, where I want to tell you about what I'm working on and give you an inside scoop on what's happening at the Lair of Voltaire. So as such, I typically do not take questions at the beginning, and I try not to focus too much on reading the comments, because if I do, then I get completely sidetracked. So for the first 10 minutes or so, I'm just going to tell you a bunch of stuff. And then if you have questions, by all means, fire away later. Oh, I thought I had fixed this terrible focus thing, but I guess I didn't. In any case, so let's get started. Today we're going to get started with merch. There was something I wanted to do. Let me try something. Aha, no, yeah, okay, there's the Where the hell is the video newsletter? Uploads, live. Why don't I see this on my stream? Dashboard, do I need to refresh? I'm telling you, today is clearly just not my day. I do not see this stream at all on my dashboard. Oh, there it is. Okay, it just popped up. There was one thing I wanted to do before we get started. I have some links that I just want to throw up here in case, as I'm talking about stuff, people want to go look at this. They can. So let me just stick those in there. Oh, there they are. I'm going to save that. And okay, now we can begin. So as I was saying, I don't typically take questions in the beginning so that I can get through this information and bring you up to speed with what I'm working on at the moment. This video newsletter, we're going to start with some merch stuff, because I have some really exciting new designs on Society 6 that I want to share with you. The most recent one is this. This is Cosmic Critters. There were a bunch of people asking me for Cthulhu-inspired designs, and one night I decided to put my pencil to paper. This is all hand-drawn. And I started drawing Cthulhu-inspired creatures, as you can see. And I don't normally do color schemes that involve green, but there's a lot of people have been asking for green in the Society 6 store. So I created this design. I am so thrilled with how it looks. And the camera's not really doing it justice because it's really washing it out. It's so much richer in person. It's probably because of the colored lights. It looks so good, and I got so excited that I made a variation of that design called Cosmic Critters Twilight Zone Glow. That looks like this. Why Twilight Zone Glow? Well, I'll tell you, because I have a problem with gray. For those of you who watched the first 2 episodes of Gothic Homemaking, you'll know that I had huge problems painting my apartment gray. The first time around, it turned out lavender. I swear the paint was gray in the can, but it turned out lavender. And then the next time I went, and I really wanted to make sure the walls didn't look lavender, and so I got a really desaturated gray, and then I I never liked it. I really don't like this color. I've lived with it for like 4 years now, but I don't love this gray. I feel it has too much green in it. So I have the same trouble with my merchandise. When I try to make things gray, it just always looks a little too boring, and I start adding a little bit of blue and a little bit of blue, so it's a cool gray, and before I know it, it's like lilac. So to me, this has kind of the look, like the color of the cathode rays emanating from a TV screen while you're watching Twilight Zone. So that's why this is called, let's see if we can get the focus, Cosmic Critters Twilight Zone Glow. And these are now available in my Society 6 store. There are links in this video, and today they're 30% off. Today, I think all home decor on Society 6 is 30% off, so go take advantage. I also wanted to share with you my penultimate design. It's called Skelebats. It's just what it sounds like. Which one should I start with? I'm going to start with Halloween. This is Skelebats Halloween. Thank you, Shenanigans. Man, these comments go by so fast. Hi, Voltaire. I can't stay for the newsletter, which sucks, so I have to check it later. Love the labyrinth illustrations. Super excited for the Halloween episodes. Thank you very much, Shenanigans. Well, and those of you who have to cut out early, or I guess I can't really talk to those who didn't make it at all. But yeah, this video will be on the internet forever. Unfortunately, probably, most of the stuff that's on the internet forever is probably unfortunate at the end of the day. But yeah, you can always come back and watch it again, or watch it at a different time. My camera and focus. I should buy a new phone with a better camera. In any case, getting back to Skelebats. So this is another hand-drawn design. This is called Skelebats. Look at these guys. I'm going to try to get that up real close so you can see it. Let's see if I can get this in better focus. This is all hand-drawn. I mean, I don't hand-draw every cushion, of course, but the original drawing is hand-drawn. And as you can see in the background, it has the bats and beasts pattern. So this is Skelebats in what I call the Halloween edition. It's nice black and orange design. And that's presently in the store, as well as, well, I also don't, well, let's just start with purple. You guys know that I love purple, and I particularly like what I call royal purple. And for me, a royal purple is, it has more blue than red in it. And this is Skelebats in royal purple. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, the Skelebats are kind of hard to see. That's sort of the point. That's sort of the point. And it was sort of inspired by a pillow. I think the very first Halloween cushion I ever bought. It was at Michael's. And it was black, and it had roses on it. I remember just looking at it. It had this like a kind of complex black and white and red pattern. And I loved it. And then I picked it up and I realized it had skulls as well. I like that it kind of takes a moment. When you first look at it, you might think this is a floral pattern. And then when you look at it closer, you see that, let's see if I can get it to focus better. You see that it's these bats, the Skelebats, and then of course, once again, it's the bats and beasts design in the background. And I made it in purple because the layer is mostly purple and I love purple. But for those who are always complaining there's not enough red in my Society 6 store, I did do a red version. So this is called Skelebats Bloodbath. This is the Skelebats Bloodbath. The Skelebats do show up a little better against the red, but once again, I think at first glance, like if you just saw this, you might think it's like a roses or some kind of flowers. And then when you look at it closer, you realize how spooky it is. You realize how out of focus it is. Come on, damn it. There we go. Well, that's good enough. So those are my two latest designs at Society 6. If I could turn the camera on, I'm not going to because I'm cursed with technology, and if I turn the camera on, I'll probably ruin everything. But there's a giant pile of cushions in here. There's Halloween Moon, and there's Bats and Filigree Halloween, Bats and Filigree Haunted Mansion. I see a briar web with a spider against white, and spider webs. That comes in purple, that comes in gray, that comes in orange. There's a lot of designs. So click any of the links. Excuse me, my God, what's happening? You know I should drink more wine. Click any of the links in the video description. That'll take you to my Society 6 store, and then you can just kind of like crawl around in there and see what you like. And hopefully there'll be something that you do like. And like I said, it is 30% off. Everything's 30% off today for spring cleaning sale is what they're calling it. So go and avail yourself to some savings and some spooky home decor. People ask me all of the time, they're like, when are you going to get your own home decor line? I have one. Just so happens it's on Society 6. So you don't have to go to, I don't know, Michael's or Joann's or somewhere like that to find my designs. You just get online. Easy as can be. Now, before we move on, there's one other merch item I want to share with you. As you guys know, I designed a line of Gothic Antibacterial Mask and glove sets. Now, there's a lot of cool, spooky Gothic mask designs out there, but pretty much none of them come with matching gloves. And I just got the most recent, or I should say I just released the most recent design. This design is called Jack-o'-lantern. Get it? Jack-o'-lantern. And it looks like this. Where is this mask? Where? What did I do? Ugh. Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law, the band, just played at Tompkins Square Park like 2 days ago. It was the weirdest thing ever. Here we go. So that's the mask, and it would take me too long to take off my rings, so I'm just going to put the gloves right over the rings. Now, once again, this design looks like a jack-o'-lantern, but if you look at the background, how close can I get? I think that's about as close as I can get. But can we focus it better? Probably not. Well, the background, the orange part, is, once again, Bats and Beasts. It is the Bats and Beasts design. And, if any of you ever saw Pan's Labyrinth, you might recognize this guy. Oh, you see the facial recognition went away. It doesn't recognize me anymore. So, you know, these masks and these gloves, they are treated with microban. This is microban fabric, and what that does is it repels germs up to the first 50 washes. So I got to take this off because it doesn't recognize my face and it will not focus. Up to the first 50 washes. So not only are you wearing a barrier, if you're concerned about germs, not only are you wearing a barrier on your face and on your hands, but the fabric itself kills germs. So, you know, last year Halloween was, you know, a lot of it was canceled, and trick-or-treating pretty much didn't happen in a lot of places. So, you know, who knows what the future holds? I certainly do not know what the future holds, but I am hoping that this year Halloween will be 100% full on. And if for those of you who are concerned about going from house to house and getting candies from strangers, there's your Halloween costume. It's $20. $20 Halloween costume. It's the easiest jack-o'-lantern costume you will ever buy. And it kills germs. Oh, and now oh my God, my hair looks terrible. Why didn't anybody tell me my hair looks so bad? Okay, I just put myself up on the big screen. So now I can actually see myself, but that's counterproductive. Let's be better. Oh, hey Barb, nice to see you. Bet you Doug would be pleased. Doug Jones. Haven't talked to him in a long while. Ever since you won that Oscar, stop returning my calls. Hollywood. Hollywood. What else are we here to talk about? Those are the two most recent merch items that I wanted to share with you. Well, I guess three if you count the two different designs, but the Society 6 stuff and the mask and gloves. I also have a bunch of other mask and glove designs. I am not going to get up and go look for them, but there's bats and beasts in royal purple, and there's Balinese bat in haunted mansion gray, and there's the layer crest design, which is sort of like in a lilac. So go check out the link in the video description below for my web store, and you will find them all there, as well as my Globlin. You guys know what the Globlin is, right? I said I wasn't going to stand up, but here we go. The last time, I'm really self-conscious now. I got to go over the side like this, because the last time that I did one of these newsletters and I was getting up and down, somebody wrote, "Every time you stand up, it's glorious." And it made me very self-conscious about my midsection, my glorious midsection. So anyway, so here's the Globlin. Let's see if we can get in for a close-up on this. This is one of the most, let me say this in English. This is one of the items that I am the most excited about ever having made. It's black. It's a black silicone hand sanitizer holder. As you can see, it's got a Bath and Body Works sanitizer in there because ours just did not work out. They're still trying to figure out how to get it right. So I don't know if I'm ever going to have my hand sanitizer, but they do fit the Bath and Body Works. Got a nice big V on the back, got my logo on the back, and they light up so bright that you can't even film it. I've had a lot of people write to me who have gotten these, telling me that the light is a lifesaver. Like I had someone say, like, "Oh, I work in a bar until super late, and like walking to my car, it's always been really nice to have this super bright light." The light is brighter than makes sense, really. It's unbelievable. And those are in the web store as well. And that, I think, officially wraps up my little speech about all the new merch stuff. Well, no, it doesn't, because then there's the candles. We're inching closer. On the last video newsletter, I showed you the candle base. That's too far away. That's just too far away. And the candle base, it's the Black Labyrinth Forest of Shadows candle base. It is so intricate and beautiful, like these crooked roots with skulls and bones embedded in it. And we are presently working on the candles. I am told that this week I will have my first samples, so I'll be able to smell the layer candle for the first time and see if they got the scent right. And if they got the scent right, we start pouring and we start shipping. So those should be happening soon-ish. Now that's all that I have to say about merch. And we are now going to move on. And because there might be people joining us, I did want to just repeat that since this is not a Q&A, I usually leave the questions to the end. I want to talk about the stuff that I'm doing just to catch you up on what's been going on at the Aurelio Voltaire. And then I take questions afterwards. So hold your questions till the end. I notice that sometimes, people, they send the super chats and the tips, and those are fantastic, and I greatly appreciate them. But when a question's attached, then I have to stop to answer it, and then so let's do those at the end. Who's calling me? Who's calling me guapo? Ah, my fiance is. Hola, amor, ¿qué tal? Guapa. Hi, Mayumi. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us. It's my lovely, wonderful fiance tuning in from Mexico City, where I probably just should be. But I found that it's really, really hard to film Aurelio Voltaire episodes when I'm not at the Aurelio Voltaire. At least the wraparound stuff, the stuff where me and Orville are arguing. So I got to go back and forth, unfortunately, between New York and Mexico City. But I do love Mexico City so much, and so it's a joy. It's a joy to be able to go back and forth. Natasha, thank you very much. I love the new merch. I would love to buy the Bloodbath pillow. Get it today, 30% off. I sound like a used car salesman over here. So in any case, I did want to talk to you about some other things. What should we do first? Let's do Black Labyrinth first. So those of you who have been following Black Labyrinth know that it is inspired by the film Labyrinth, but it's a darker take on it because it takes place after the death of the Goblin King, played by David Bowie, which sadly happened in real life. So it's a darker story, and it starts with the death of Jareth. And what some of you may not know, if you're new to the project, is that there's presently a lot of David Bowie bandmates recording on this album. So his drummer Sterling Campbell played all of the drums. The bass guitar duties have been split up between Mark Plati, who has played in a million David Bowie live shows and on a whole bunch of David Bowie albums. He's playing a lot of the bass. Some of the bass tracks are played by Gail Ann Dorsey. Mike Garson, the pianist who joined David Bowie for the Spiders from Mars tour. Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars tours in 1972, I think, plays on this album, which what a joy to have an original Spider from Mars on the album. And who else? Well, Holly Palmer is the latest to join me in the Black Labyrinth. Holly Palmer is a backup singer. She joined David Bowie's cadre of talented musicians on the album Hours in 1999, and then subsequently toured with him for a year or two after that, touring that album all over the world. Holly sings very prominently on a song called Thursday's Child on that album. It's the very first song on the album. It's a duet, really, is what it is. So she just sang backing vocals for Safe in Your Love. Should I play it for you? Should I do that? Maybe I play a little snippet. I open up iTunes and the album Hours is there. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to a little bit of Safe in Your Love so you can hear Holly's contribution. I'm going to fast forward to where she comes in. Fast forward to like the middle of the song.
It's ironic, don't it seem? This massive castle key is made of your
Thank you, Mayra. Working on it.
Just lying in your arms, keep me safe from harm, like the signal of fire in the dark. When I'm with you, I feel safe. All the world just melts away. Safe in your love, there isn't a fear that I can't face. I miss the moment that you came. Promise you'll never go away. I need your love as much as I need each breath I take. So let the haters hate, let them drown in their debates. In this castle I feel safe, safe in your love.
What do you think? I think it sounds really, really lovely. It sounds prettier than I think anything I've ever recorded, so it kind of like threw me off at first. I was like, this does not sound like one of my songs. This sounds a little too pretty to be one of my songs. But it's supposed to be pretty. Thank you, Brian. Rock on, boss man. I am going to try. And Mayra, I saw, left a message as well about the fragrance. She wanted to know if I'm still working on the fragrance. It's been on hold for quite a while now, the fragrance, because we couldn't get the bottle right. I wanted the bottle a certain way, and it was super, super complicated. And like every factory that we talked about, they just weren't getting it right, and they had many concerns about how delicate and how thin parts of it were. And now I'm redesigning it in the hopes that we will get it off the ground. But as the fact is we're working on the candles. When we get the candles sorted, the next thing is soap. That was supposed to be a secret, but I shared an image on Instagram a few weeks ago of a tombstone. People did not know what it was. Some people thought it was a perfume bottle. That's actually soap. So I'm hoping to do a line of soaps, but to get, first we got to get the shape right, and then when we get the shape right, once again it comes down to trying to get the fragrance correct. So as far as releasing the layer perfume, that's just still on hold for the time being. You know what? There's something else I want to play you. Getting back to Black Labyrinth. So first of all, welcome Holly Palmer to the Black Labyrinth. I'm so excited to have her on board. And there's one other thing I wanted to play you while I have your attention and we're talking about Black Labyrinth. And that is this. There's a song called It Was Music All Along. And it's an important song because it's like when they realize that every time they've had any success in this musical at defeating the shadow or beating back the forces of the shadow, it's always been when music was playing. It was either Valerian was playing his flute, or he was singing a song, or Zenobia was humming. There's always music involved. So there's a song called It Was Music All Along. And I'm not going, not every song on an album is going to be a winner. And this song, the more I listened to it, the more it bored me a little bit. I was like, this song, I feel like the message is important, but this song itself is kind of boring. That is so not the case anymore, because now it has hammered dulcimer, synthetic human, beyond hype for this album. Gotta go. Oh, gotta go. Okay. Well, thank you for sticking around, and you can watch the rest of the stream later. So, the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, I forgot. Maybe wine will help. Maybe if I drink some wine. It worked. So the song now has hammer dulcimer, violin, mandolin, and 3 different types of flutes: recorder, low recorder, and tin whistle. And it now sounds like a proper Middle Earth song. So I'll play you a little of that. It was music all along. An accordion. Franz Nicolai, an accordion.
Was shattered by a soft, sweet melody, a dead orange flower. As I watched the glow retreat, and I didn't see it then, my friend, but it happened again.
Sam, I can see the Shire from here, Sam. Amanda, favorite scary movie. Okay, we'll get to that one in a minute. Candy Alchemist, happy Halloween. Love the album. It's sounding great so far. Thank you both.
In the dark of this forest, where we all try to go, the song.
I'm going to stop it there because this song gets so different at the end that I'm just going to cut. Saying, always such a good pleasure to see you hop on board. Thank you for stopping by. I want to just go to the end of the song for a second because it gets very different. Blowing the joke here. Here we go. Well, the birds they sing and the bells they chime, and there's the whistling wind. And if you learn their songs and you sing along, you'll be happy just like them. Well, the insects keep the beat all night, and the wolves they make their sounds. And if you do like folks and you tap your toes, there'll be music all around. So sing a song, any song,
to make our hearts grow strong. When things look like what pushed it back, it was music all along to carry on.
What do you think? It's pretty crazy, right? I have this idea. There's this dancer. I saw this YouTube video, and I'm not going to forget about your question. We're going to get back to it. Oh, thank you, Dark Raven. Thank you very much. I saw this. This is how weird the world is. I just happened to be on YouTube one day, and somebody had uploaded a video of a busker in Galway, Ireland. Can't wait. Anastasia, can't wait to blast this while driving everywhere, while driving to Mordor. Thank you. So someone uploaded this video of a busker, okay? And in this particular case, it was an Irish young lady in Galway doing a traditional Irish dance. I'm not going to try to pronounce it in Gaelic because I am going to butcher it. So I'm not even going to try. And it was so amazing, and I'd never seen anything like it. And it's so rhythmic. It's like tap dancing, and it's so rhythmic, and it makes such a great sound. And it's such a great story because I guess people would just see her standing in front of a bar, you know, tapping, doing this dance in exchange for tips. And this is the magic of the internet. Over time, enough people had uploaded videos of hers that like she became kind of famous, and then she went on some show kind of similar to America's Got Talent, and I think she might have come in second place. I'm not sure if she won, but then that has led to all of these great things for her. Her name's Emma O'Sullivan, if I'm not mistaken. Really talented, but it's the beauty of the internet, the fact that you could just stand on a street corner. Well, it can also work not in your favor, but you could stand on a street corner and demonstrate your talent, and it can end up being something that people are like. I'm aware of her dancing abilities, and it's so rhythmic that I've been thinking of reaching out to her and asking if she could record herself dancing to that song to use that sound, the sound of the traditional Irish dancing in the song. Isn't that a crazy idea? I mean, I don't know that she would say yes, but I thought it would add something. John Chadwick, only just saw the announcement. What I'd miss. So what? You're gonna have to scroll back and watch it because I don't think I can recap all of it. Gwen says this sounds amazing. Inspired to start singing and learning to play the fiddle. So happy I didn't miss this live stream. Well, I'm glad you made it. And incidentally, at the risk of sounding like I'm pitching you all to join my Patreon, if you want to hear a lot more of the Black Labyrinth, I share a lot of it on Patreon. If you sign up for the Keys to the Goblin City tier, and it's the most expensive one, so you know it's not one to be taken lightly. It is not a tier to trifle with. But if you sign up for that one, you literally get everything as it's being made. Members of that tier, when I first recorded like the demos for the songs, they got all of the songs in demo form. And then when I went in and recorded drums, they got all of the demos with drums. And then I recorded bass and they got all of the songs with bass, and so on and so forth with every new instrument. So, and then of course, you know, just like the general patrons as well, get a lot of sneak peeks of the songs. And that brings us to the illustrations. But you know what? I have to interrupt myself because I don't want to forget the question. And I'd have to scroll way back. I remember the question, but I don't remember who asked it. And no, it doesn't scroll back. Does it scroll back far enough? Let me see. I'm determined to do this. It's going to take a minute. Let's see. There we are. It was Amanda Forrest asked, what's my favorite horror movie? Believe it or not, King Kong 1933. And I guess, you know, a lot of people may not think of that as a horror movie, but that movie changed my life. Well, it made me want to be a stop motion animator at the age of 0, you know, or 3 or 4, or however old I was when I saw it for the first time. It completely changed my life, and it put me on the path to becoming a stop motion animator, which I did become, a professional stop motion animator, until stop motion became obsolete, and then I was out of a job, and then I started making music. But that movie really put me on the path. I relate to that movie a lot, and I even refer to it in Black Labyrinth. I refer to King Kong in Black Labyrinth in a song called My Epitaph, which is not yet recorded at all, so no one's heard it. But I talk about how I always knew that I would come to this terrible end, says the main character, Ever since I was a small child when I saw that great beast on the run, and he climbed to the top of the world, all for a girl, just to fall. And now here I am at my own kingdom come. And if you listen to it really quickly, you'll think I'm saying at my own kingdom come, but I'm saying kingdom come. So that movie has great importance to me. But in recent history, I guess whenever Jade the Libra started promoting Shudder, I watch her videos. She's a colleague of mine here. I make the Gothic Homemaking, and she has her spooky Gothic show where she does a lot of similar things. And she was at some point promoting uh, Shudder, which is a horror streaming platform. And I signed up using her code, like to get a discount or whatever. And I've been hooked ever since. And I've been watching Van Luten films. Am I pronouncing his name right? I hope I am. But he was a producer who made films that were, it was black and white era. They were horror. He made I Walked with a Zombie. And last night I watched Cat People. And I don't know if he did White Zombie or Island of Dr. Moreau, but those films I believe, I may have seen those on Shudder as well. So I'm kind of like really hooked on obscure black and white classic horror films. I just saw a film I'd never even heard of before starring Boris Karloff called Isle of the Dead. And so that's kind of what I've been watching a lot of lately is these black and white horror films, typically that take place on tropical islands or in jungles, like Island of Dr. Moreau or I Walked with a Zombie. And I've been kind of on that kick lately. All right, so getting back to Black Labyrinth, what I have not talked about yet is illustration. Those of you who have been following along may recall that may know that it's taken months and months and months to get to the point where I am now with the because there's an illustrated book, right? There's an accompanying book allegedly that I'm going to write and is going to be fully illustrated that comes with the album or that you can buy with the album. And there's 20 pages and there's 20 illustrations. There's going to be like 100 pages or more. There's 20 illustrations. Each one corresponds with a song. And up until recently, there was like a lot of character studies that had been done by Erin Horrors and by Abigail Larson, but there was only one finished page, and there was only one finished illustration for the book, and that was for the song "Friends in the Dark." Give me 1 second. I have to adjust something because my camera just bugged out, and it's really dark all of a sudden. Okay, I don't know why. It's really weird. All right, whatever. So, because there was all this work that was being done on character studies, there was only one page. Well, in recent history, I have found a third illustrator who's contributing to the book. Her name is Drea. She goes by Drea D. Art. The way she writes it, it looks like Dread Art. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say Dread Art or Drea D. Art, because she puts the D real close to the Drea. And she has contributed some really amazing work, and she's so fast, and she has in recent history completed 3 pages. So I went from having 1 finished page to having 4 finished pages in a very short period of time. So she is now working on the page for this. Oh, so she's done the pages for Little White Lies, which features a giant white snake attacking Valerian. And she did the page for Safe in Your Love, which is Valerian and Zenobia Voss dancing at the masquerade ball the night before the coronation. It's very As the World Falls Down. It really is inspired by that moment of Labyrinth. And she did such a beautiful job on those. And she just did, what's the other one? She did Safe in Your Love. Oh, right. What Will We Do? She just did What Will We Do, which is this really sad portrait of Valerian crying at the tomb of the Goblin King. Gorgeous illustrations. And so she is now working on the illustration for Oubliette, and Erin Horrors is presently working on the illustration of the very first page of the book, which is called The King is Dead. And we are just trucking along. We're just trucking along. And so I am now officially a 5th done with the illustrations in the book. And is that right? Yeah. And I'm a 4th done writing the book. I'm somewhere around the middle of chapter 6. and we have 4 full-page illustrations. So we just keep plowing ahead. Once again, on Patreon, they are seeing all of these pages, and very shortly, the Keys to the Goblin City members will be receiving all 4 pages in full res. So you can just print them out as posters if you want to. So that's everything I think that there is to say. Well, I guess the other thing I can say about Black Labyrinth is that, of course, I have my sights on working with a couple of other musicians that spent a lot of time working with David Bowie. So hopefully that trend continues, and before long there are, the entire the entire cadre of David Bowie collaborators has contributed to Black Labyrinth. We'll see. I don't know. I will say this. Working with musicians that spent a lot of time working with David Bowie, they brought their ideas to his music. He didn't sit there and write every note. He did very much what I do. Is he had general ideas about things. He had if he had a specific idea, he would tell you. But otherwise, he might have a general idea where, like myself, he'd just play the song on the acoustic guitar. And then the electric guitarist would come in, or the bass player would come in, and they bring their ideas and they put their spin on it. And so having those same people bringing their same types of ideas to this album, I just think is such a glorious way to add to this tribute to the Goblin King. And that's all I'm going to say about Black Labyrinth, which brings us to the last topic of the evening: Gothic homemaking. And I have some news about Gothic homemaking, but you might all want to take a drink first. I know I will. Gothic homemaking. Sorry, I must not be a very good actor. I was like really hamming it up in the hopes that people were going to think I was going to say Gothic homemaking was canceled forever. Gothic homemaking is, I am officially making episodes. I am presently making 2 episodes simultaneously. My bathroom is finally done. The Gothic bathroom renovation is finished. Yes, I'm a trickster, Lee. I'm a terrible, terrible trickster. The Gothic bathroom renovation is completely finished. My bathroom is glorious. It is glorious. The bathroom here at the Lair Voltaire has been disgusting since day one. For 20 years, it's been gross. And now it is glorious. It is so beautiful, I want to renovate the whole rest of the Lair to look as good as the bathroom. So very, very soon, you're going to be seeing the full bathroom renovation, which is an epic, 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 an epic episode. Epic episode? Yeah, it's an epic episode. It's a long one, too. It's like 40 minutes long. It's super, super long. And because it was, it took all of last season to do it. And it took a whole lot of projects, a whole lot of individual projects last season to make that bathroom happen. So that is almost done. There's some finishing touches I still need to do, but it is almost done. Why will this thing not focus on me? And I am also working on a Halloween episode where, for the very first time ever, I made cupcakes. It's kind of laughable, and they're really ridiculous, and they're all like made from a mix with frosting from a can. It's like super cheesy, but it's Halloween. Halloween is kitschy, and Halloween is kitschy, and I made kitschy Gothic cupcakes. Some of them are inspired by the cosmic horror Critters. I made some cupcakes that look like this cushion. I really did. And and then the third episode that I would need to make, Lady Sugar Sama. Excited for everything upcoming. Have a good evening, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. So the third episode would have to be a Gothic home tour, because I promised last season that the 100th episode would be a Gothic home tour. There'll be a tour of the entire lair, the whole thing, like you haven't seen every inch of this place. It's not going to include the kitchen, because the kitchen still isn't done. That's going to be a lot of what I'll be doing, I think, this spring. But I have not begun shooting the Gothic home tour. But I can tell you that the first two episodes are going to be the Gothic bathroom renovation and a Halloween cupcake episode. They're both a lot of fun. They're both really, really, I'm really proud of them. I'm really happy with them. I'm not happy with how long it took me to make them, and I'm still working on them. How the hell did a cupcake episode end up being so complicated? I have no idea, but I'm still working on that episode. We shot last night at Hard Swallow, one of my favorite bars. It's a rock bar here in New York City. And it's still not finished. So I'm still working on both. So I guess the big question is, when will Gothic Homemaking come back? The answer is, I don't know. If I finish these episodes by next Thursday, then I'm going to say next Thursday. Like, I really wanted to hit first week of May. So if I manage to get them done by next week, then Gothic Homemaking will start airing again in a week. The not great news is that I have no intention of it being a weekly show anymore, because, you know, the Black Labyrinth takes up so much of my time, and as you might imagine from the people involved, a lot of my resources. So I can't possibly be, juggling, the kind of production schedule that was on Gothic Homemaking when it was every week. I spent all of my money on it and all of my time. So I can't really do that while I'm working on Black Labyrinth, and I have to prioritize Black Labyrinth. So that is what's going to, where the priority is going to be. And I'm going to make Gothic Homemaking episodes as they happen. I'm just not going to kill myself and put myself in a position where I'd want to kill myself, because I'm trying to keep up with the schedule, and I'm running out of time, and I'm running out of money, and I'm freaking out, and the album isn't getting made. So I'm just going to take it one step at a time, and I'm just going to try to bring you episodes that are really, 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 really fun and really, really high quality at whatever pace seems reasonable. So I hope that's okay with you guys. And that is all the news that's fit to print. So I open up the floor to questions. Oh, cool, possible Gothic homemaking project. What to do? A Bob Ross painting like a castle. I don't, Insidious sheep. I don't paint. I'm a terrible, terrible painter. I can paint anything black. That is a fact. You've seen me do it a million times. But I'm a terrible painter. I can draw. Okay. All right. Like, a not great illustrator, which is why there's some, other people illustrating Black Labyrinth. But I can draw this well. I can draw exactly that well. You know what I mean? I can draw like little monsters and skeletal bats. And my phone is really, really driving me insane. It's time for a new phone. If somebody works at a phone company, send me a new phone. What is this? Who is speaking to me? How do Pisces. I'm overthinking it. Voltaire, I'm doing a Gothic webcomic currently, and you've inspired me and it so much. I'm adding you to the thank you page when it's finished. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, I'm going to do my best to try to read some questions. They go by very, very quickly, so please forgive me if I didn't see yours. And you know what? Damn, I should really get my glasses for this. Give me a second, because I might have to jump to get my glasses. Would you ever... Oh my God, I'm not answering that question. Hey Voltaire, my name is Sarah, and it's not too much to ask. Can I get a shout out for getting engaged yesterday? Wow. Congratulations, Sarah. I'm engaged too. I know how wonderful and beautiful that feels, so I really congratulate you. All right, I'm being mean. I said I wasn't going to answer a certain question. It was, would I ever collaborate with Curtis RX from... I just don't understand why so many people ask me that. Like, I've covered that so many times, and I'd be willing to bet it's the same damn person asking over and over and over again. I like that band. I've told this story 3 million times, that like they opened for me somewhere, thought they were really great, tried to take them on tour. They didn't want to leave their day jobs. They didn't want to go on tour. Never really spoke to them ever again. Still love the music. Think they're very talented. I did indirectly collaborate with Curtis because we were both in American Murder Song, which was a project by Terrence Dunich, but we weren't in the same scene together, so I didn't see him. I think he's a lovely, lovely guy. Yeah, sure, I'd collaborate with him, but I haven't spoken to him in 15 years or more. So it's gonna be a little hard to collaborate with someone who you don't speak to. But I'm entirely certain it's got to be the same person asking over, like someone who's completely obsessed, asking over and over and over again. So that was the last time I'm going to answer that question. So just to be fair, that's the last time I'm going to answer a question about that band. I love them. You don't need to know any more than that, I think. Eliza Sweetie, I wanted to share with you I fell in love again. His name is Michael and he's amazing. Wow, that's great. That is so wonderful. I'm very happy for you. Hey Voltaire, I want to thank you for all the effort that you're putting into it's almost escaped me. Putting into making Gothic homemaking episodes for us. I plan on referring to them when I eventually acquire my home. Fabulous. Thank you, Draskell. Draskell Everthought. Stacy Rockefeller says, here are $5 in support of your channel. Any chance of a live listening party for Black Labyrinth when it drops? Well, I hadn't thought of it, but that's certainly a good plan. I will say I'm a little bit nervous about the patrons on Patreon who are in the Keys of the Goblin City. I'm like, I give them so much that I think like, should I cut them off like a week before the album? Like with the album's gonna come out and they're gonna be like, yeah, we've been listening to this for a year. You know, I do worry a little bit that like if I give too much, that when the album comes out it'll be like a bummer. So I haven't figured that part yet. For now, they're just getting everything. But yeah, live listening party sounds like a lot of fun. American Murder Song. I need to research that. Yes, Queen Alice, you do. You'd love it. It's pretty cool. 420 Peach Frogs. Your music has helped me so much over the year, especially with some things I've gone through lately. Thank you. Do you know when you might be coming to Dallas again? I wasn't vaxxed the last show. I have no... Oosh, I almost lost the whole page. I have no idea. I hope soon. I'm fully vaccinated. Everybody should get vaccinated. That's my opinion. I don't believe in pressuring anybody to do anything. That's not who I am. I believe in freedom of thought and freedom of choice and freedom of opinion. I may disagree with you. I may even want to stay away from you if I disagree with you strongly enough about something, but I don't force people to do things. But my personal opinion is that if everybody got vaccinated, we could possibly go back to normal. And I'd really love to be playing shows again. So, more friendly, demonic, good old evil. All right. This message is held for review. What naughtiness did this person say? Did you ever see the 4-book manga that was a sequel to Labyrinth? Why was that held for review? No, I've never seen it. I know of it and I've seen it like the covers on the internet, but I haven't purchased it. I'm not sure I want to. I really want to. It's like naive a little bit when you're like, I don't want my vision to be compromised by reading something else. But I kind of don't want my vision to be compromised by reading another Labyrinth sequel, so I'm working on it. I will say this before I move on to more questions. I want to trend the hashtag, the other Labyrinth sequel. I've started using it on my Instagram, but I haven't like really gone all out on it yet. But when the album's closer to being done, I am absolutely going to try to trend that hashtag. The other Labyrinth sequel. Edie asks, why haven't you gotten a bigger apartment? Oh, because I don't have a bigger bank account. Because this is what I can afford. Well, that answer's a little incomplete. This is what I can afford where I want to live, which is in Manhattan, preferably downtown. This is the best I can afford. That's just the simple answer. Would I have a bigger apartment in lower Manhattan if everybody who listened to my music paid for it? Hell yeah. If the 187,000 people who listen to my music on Instagram all just bought one song for 99 cents, yeah, I'd have a bigger apartment. But they don't, and that's the reality. Streaming is where it's at, and I make however much money I make. And I spend the majority of it on making more art. I spend the majority of it on paying musicians and paying camera people and paying special effects people. I spend most of the money that I make on making more stuff, making more art. And so I can't afford a bigger apartment where I want to live. I mean, I could live in Orville, Ohio, and I'd have a damn house. Or, you know, for that matter, Mexico City. I could live in Mexico City. I could afford something much bigger. And who knows? I very well might end up in Mexico City, and that would not be the worst thing in the world. I love it there. But that's my answer to your question, because I can't afford it. Just simple truth. Trips to the jungle. Well, yeah, that's true, Farron. I do take trips to the jungle. I do, but in my defense, I shoot while I'm in the jungle. So I'm creating content. You know, we're going to call that a business expense, even though I love being in the jungle. I do love being in the jungle. How did you meet Orville? Where did you get him from and when? Ask of Cats and Crepes. The origin of Orville, it's complicated, and I'm not sure I want to share it. I'm just not sure I want to share the Orville. Let's just say that I met Orville for the first time on the set of Happy Birthday, My Old Friend, on the set of the music video for Happy Birthday, My Old Friend. But that's, I think, all I'm going to say. But if you do some digging, especially on some social media platforms that don't exist anymore, or do exist, but no one goes to them anymore, you might find out exactly where Orville came from. But I don't know that I want you to. There should be a little mystery. There have been some people, including neighbors, including people I know personally, who are, well, it's not that they're convinced, but they suspect that Orville is a desiccated corpse, like a real desiccated corpse. I'm not going to say if he is or isn't, but they suspect that Orville's an actual desiccated human. And I think haven't been able to allow themselves to enjoy the show, thinking that I might be exploiting a dead person, if that's a thing, on my show. And and some of these people have asked again and again and again if Orville's a real dead person. And I'm not going to answer it, because life has to have some mysteries, people. It has to have some mysteries. You can't not only can't you know everything, you shouldn't know everything. Life needs to have some mysteries. Tiger Stripe says Orville is a gaff. Oh, he would be so mad at you if you read that. It's a good thing he's way over there buried in dirty underwear. Hold the phone, that cannot be true. Yep, it's true. Come to Mexico, please, says Acadia. Oh yeah, I will be there before you know it. I jump back and forth all the time. Annabella Bobcat says, feels a little weird publicly sending money to snag the momentary attention of a fellow weirdo on the internet, but the cool kids are doing it, so hey, it ain't that weird. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. If you do it because you want to support my endeavors, you just supported my endeavors. You literally just sent money that I am going to use to make something, or to paint something black, or to hire a musician. So no, it's not weird. Supporting is not weird. At least I don't think it is. And thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. I recently had someone, when my Patreon started, it was the lowest tier was $1. And it was that way for years and years and years. And at some point, Patreon sent out letters to all the creators, and they were like, please, discontinue your $1 tier and make it $2, because what you may not know is that the majority of that first $1 is covering administrative fees and stuff. You're not getting the majority of that first $1. So just tell all of your patrons that $2 is the lowest entry point. I didn't have the heart to do that, so I discontinued anybody adding, any new people jumping on for $1. But then, I created a $2 tier. The point of this story is that I recently received a message, from one of my patrons who had been at the $1 level for a long time, and then switched up to the $2 level. And whenever anybody increases their contribution, I always personally write them to thank them. And I said, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the boost. And they were like, oh my God, it's $2. It's so sad. It's I'm barely contributing anything. First of all, that is not true. Because, again, to play a numbers game, if the 187,000 people, let's do some math. If the 187,000 people who listen to, or who subscribe to this channel, for instance, 185,000, something like that, if they all contributed to my Patreon just 1 month, $1, I would have, well, I don't know, but it's a lot of money. I'm bad at math. So when somebody contributes $1, I'm thrilled. I am thrilled. As I was telling someone, I was talking about Patreon last night with some friends at Hard Swallow. I said, you know, the thing about Patreon, like, it doesn't matter how much people contribute. It's the fact that they do, you know, in a world where music has no monetary value anymore. It's just it's just so heartwarming that people do contribute. So I don't care, you know, sending a $5 super chat, you're helping a lot more than you realize. You know, maybe next year when Edie asks me why I live in this rat trap instead of a mansion, I could say, I'm moving to a mansion because all these people jumped on Patreon. I don't know. That's just dumb. All right. So what do we have here? It's so cool that you worked with Terrence Dunwich. Which do you like better, Repo, the Genetic Opera, or the Devil's Carnival? I'd probably say Repo. But you know the classics. You know how it is. 99% of the people who listen to my music, they're like, your best album ever is The Devil's Bris. And I'm like, oh my God. This is my first album ever. Like, I've really not improved at all. But there's something about the classics. You know, my favorite horror movie is King Kong. So there you go. ¿Cuándo vendrás a México? Me encanta tu música y la letra de tus canciones, dice Sofía. I'm not sure, but a Mexico show has to happen soon-ish. Whenever it's safe. Whenever it's safe and concerts are happening again and people are vaccinated. I guess that's when. Sayan, just wanted to show support in all that you do on the album. Happy to be a person with keys. Thank you. Keep up the spirits, or we will raise them for you. Well, sounds wonderfully threatening. I love it. Thank you for being a Keys to the Goblin City member. I really appreciate that. Happy Walpurgisnacht. Did I pronounce that? I don't think so. Walpurgisnacht. That's as good as it's going to get. Or Witch's Night. As a witch myself, says Madison, I was wondering if you can have any animals or familiar. What would it be? So easy. Flying fox. Flying fox. I met a lot of flying foxes in Indonesia. The happiest moments, the happiest and simultaneously saddest moments of my life sometimes were in the company of flying foxes. But we're going to have to get into why those moments were sad when and if a Light in the Shadows ever happens. Wait, what? Yes. Okay. Alice says, but only Orville deserves to be eternal. Be an eternal stench for insulting you so. Yeah, he is a piece of work, I'll tell you that. You know what? Hi. Wow, Crystal Bright's giving me a phone call. If you don't know who she is, she's a super, super talented singer. Crystal Bright and the Silver Hands was the name of her band, although these days it might just be Crystal Bright. She sings on the song Butterfly with me on the album Heart-Shaped Wound. She's got like a 3-octave range and she's super talented. And if you've never heard of her, go Google her right now. Check her out. She's super, super talented. But I'm going to have to get back to her later because I'm talking to you guys. Orville, you stealing a woman's panties again? What? Orville doesn't steal anything. It's going to be so loud on the video. It's not loud to me, but it's going to be so loud on the video. Happy Valpurgisnacht. Rythian Black, you made it. Is it Rythian or Rythian? Never really known. Hello, Voltaire. Just got done with work and had an idea for Gothic homemaking. It would be interesting to give your non-goth friends Gothic makeovers. As also explore goth styles and goth history. That's interesting. That is interesting. I certainly have never thought of that before. That is an interesting thought. Oh my God, already. Yes, I get it. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry, I thought I missed a bunch of people, but here we go. Now I'm wondering if you're a modern Norman Bates and Orville is really your dad, said Casca. That's distressing. Orville being my dad is super distressing. Shushing Akira. Sorry, it's not that much, but I do hope we can maybe a nice drink, maybe get you a nice drink or something like that with this. Love your music and you inspire me so much. Thank you. Thank you. Again, no amount of money is too little or insulting or anything of that matter. You know, again, like we live in an age of free. Like entertainment is just free. It's expected to be free. So anybody who pays anything at all is like supporting. Period. That's wonderful. I really love that. No, I'm never going to complain about that. It's great that you write a thank you letter. I wonder how many people do that. Oh, anymore. Oh, Edie's talking about Patreon. Yeah, it's not a thank you letter. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, on Patreon, when anybody, when anybody, yeah, I once got into a fight with somebody I was supporting. No, I wouldn't call it a fight. It wasn't a fight. But I have been a patron. Yeah, I've been a patron of artists. You know, on Patreon. And there was this one time where I was giving a significant amount of money to an artist whose work I really, really liked, but this artist would not reply to any messages, like any questions or any comments, and it got really distressing. And I wrote to them, and I want to believe polite, but I said, I understand if you can't reply to everybody on the internet, obviously. I even understand if you don't want to reply to direct messages on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. I get it. But if somebody's putting money in your hand to support your work directly, especially if it's a goodly amount, you are obligated, in my opinion, you are obligated to thank that person. That's just my belief. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just my outlook. Oh, right. So Annabelle says, "You're very welcome, my dude. You're one of the few people whose music I pirated and then bought." So kudos. That's really cool. I like that. There's so many questions that I'm like still in the same tiny little patch, so I apologize. How's it going? LS, thank you very much. It's going all right. Um, let's see. Crystal Rose, I don't think he would keep his dad around even as Orville. Now, Crystal Rose, what you may not know is my biological father died when I was 4 months old, and for all intents and purposes, he was a pillar of the community and a highly respected, extremely intelligent, very kind, very compassionate man. So, yeah, I'd keep him around. My stepfather, on the other hand, actually, that presents an interesting question, doesn't it? Like, would you rather keep around the corpse of a family member you really loved or a family member you really despised? It's an interesting question. Natasha says, "Just supporting a bit more. Thank you." And she says, "Hi to Mayumi." Thank you, Natasha. It's very kind of you. Sorry about the uhs and the hesitations. It's just I'm trying to get to as many questions as I can, and a lot of these comments are people talking amongst themselves, which is great. I love that sense of community, but I do have to dig a little bit for the questions. Okay. Can you guys hear the noise outside? So there's restaurants ever since the pandemic. Well, ever since like New York City basically told the restaurants they could serve people as long as it was outside. Like all of the restaurants opened up these stalls, and now basically all of New York City is now like an outdoor eating festival, which is kind of cute. There's something really really quaint about it, but noisy as hell. Can you imagine trying to shoot Gothic homemaking with that going on? It's very, very difficult. Sturban says, "Hey, I'm a bit late." You're a bit late, but you made it, and that's what matters. So welcome aboard. Wait, oh, I just jumped. When is Gothic homemaking season starting, Angela? So I just sort of covered that. Maybe you missed it. If I get done with the 2 episodes that I'm working on, they're going to air starting the first week of May, which will be next week, if I get them done in time. But as far as the season goes, it's not going to be weekly. It's going to be a little, when episodes get done is when they get released. Okay, about keeping a beloved relative. Oh, not so beloved relative. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, says Christina. That's probably good advice. Okay. No, Casca says, I feel the Norman Bates part went over everyone's head. Norman Bates is the murderer from Psycho. That's funny. Um, so Edie says, yes, I can hear it. Noise doesn't bother me. When it's too quiet, I start talking to myself. I talk to myself all day long. I try to stop. I've started like consciously stopping myself from doing it because it's talking to myself wasn't so bad. Arguing with myself was a problem. Like it was really starting to get dark where I was arguing with myself about dark stuff. So I try not to talk to myself anymore. I put on a Bowie album and dance around. I literally cook dinner and I put on a Bowie album. My two present favorites are Scary Monsters and Lodger. Those two are my present favorites, and I literally dance here at the Lair Voltaire in between cooking vegetables and roasting Brussels sprouts and things of that nature. What time is it? It is 10:15. You know, it is probably time to wrap this up. So let's see if I'll take a couple of more and then we'll call it a night. Yeah, Scary Monsters is super good, Sonny. Oh, and okay. I think that might be it for questions. Getting some thumbs ups, getting some hello midnight. Thank you for joining me. Hola, señor Voltaire, nos encanta su canal. Saludos desde Uruguay. Muchas gracias, Mr. Mattis. Mr. Matz, thank you for joining. Gracias por venir. How did you get involved with CNN? How did it go? I was never involved with CNN. Do you mean Fox? I was on Fox News once talking about a Gothic murder, which was really just a creepy loner who they decided was goth. People talk about Gary Newman again. I'm like jumping into the middle of conversations. Okay, Queen Alice says, when will your heart-shaped wound plaque be back in stock? I think never. I think that's it. I decided not to make any more. You know, the thing with those kinds of items is they come out and people buy them, and then sales start to dwindle, which tells me that like the people who are super into that kind of stuff, like the, can you see that from here? Yeah, you can. Okay, like the stone, these resin heads that I made, or the heart-shaped wound plaques, they sell really well, and then they just stop selling. And when they haven't sold in a while, I stop making them, you know, supply and demand. So sorry to say, that's it. I don't think there will be any more of them. Tia says, un gran saludo, capitán, desde Chile. Muchos esperamos verlo algún día en persona. Muchos cariños y usted, Mayumi. Muchas gracias, tía. Muchas gracias. So I guess quickly, Cindy K, I don't know if you're in the chat because I haven't seen your name. Cindy K wrote to me the other day. She was like, I have a really, really great idea for you, and I haven't gotten back. So if you're listening, I figured I could just answer you here. She was like, you know, I was doing the math on your live stream and I saw that you made $900 in 1 hour. I did not make for start. So she was like, so what you should do is you should live stream every single week, like a couple of times a week, and then that $900 will be $1,800 a week, and you multiply by that. Internet doesn't work that way. The internet, it would be wonderful if it did, but the internet does not work that way. For starters, I did not make $900. She didn't take into account that, you know, currency comes from different countries, you know, so when people are donating, 50 pesos is not $50, it's $2.50. And then, you know, YouTube takes their cut and blah, 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 blah. But more importantly, you can't abuse this privilege. You know, the fact that I do a Q&A and people want to do super chats is incredibly supportive and incredibly appreciative. But I would never abuse this privilege. You know, I wouldn't say, oh, well, let me do a live stream every single week in the hopes that people are going to throw money at me every single week. Because I've had that happen to me. You know, there are like Twitch streams that I belong to where I gave $20 every single time. And then they just start doing them more and more often. It's like, I can't afford to give $20 every night. You know, I might be able to do it once a week, but I can't do it every night. So, you know, it's a privilege and it is an honor and you have to appreciate it and you can't abuse it. So I do it once a month. maybe twice if I do a Q&A. So anyway, so that is the truth of it. Just wanted to thank you for the April newsletter. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, DJ Footy Pajamas. Thank you for your support. And we're winding down here. Good night, Demon Slayer. It was great to say hey. Thank you, Annabella. Thank you for coming along. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, so the person who asked me about Curtis said, I'm super sorry for asking about Curtis earlier. This was my first time popping in and I didn't mean to bother you. You didn't bother me. It's just for whatever, like he must have the craziest fan base. He must have a very, 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 well, dedicated. We'll say dedicated. Crazy's not nice. We'll say dedicated because it's every single stream. Literally every single stream. There's no other artist that people ask me about every single stream. Now, you've done absolutely nothing wrong, Oceanic Ding. You asked a question that you legitimately wanted an answer to, and I caught myself. I thought that's mean of me to say I'm not going to answer that question. No, like I answer your question and I let you know why. I probably will never answer it again. So don't be upset. Be delighted that you're the very last one to get the answer to that question. But yeah, I mean, his fans must be very, very super. But you know, like, bring me talking about it every single time is just it's getting to be a bit much. So tell them I said hi. Annabelle, good night, Demon Slayer. Oh, right, I read that one already. I know live streaming is hard, but I really appreciate live streamers. Okay, so Katie says, I know live streaming is hard, but I really appreciate live streamers during the pandemic. Really got me through some rough times. I can appreciate that. I never, ever worked harder on Gothic Homemaking than I did during the pandemic. And a lot of it was to keep myself busy, and a lot of it was to keep you busy and to give you something interesting to watch and to be reliable and to make sure that you had it every single week. And my God, I've never made so many episodes in a row like I did during the pandemic. Now I got to kind of take a step back a little bit, but they're still coming apparently. 80. You spoke about making an apothecary box to hold stuff in the bathroom. Do you think you'll get to that this season? I do not know. There is a giant ugly box under my sink at the moment, which you will not see during the Gothic bathroom renovation. Can I make it cooler looking? Probably. Will I take the time to do it? I don't know. It's possible though. Music Cabaret says, I find it interesting that he won't stream for cash, specifically seeing that apartments in Manhattan can go up to $2,300 and upwards. Yeah. I'd be doing this. In fact, I was doing this before Super Chat existed. So I'd be doing this whether this function existed or not. It certainly doesn't hurt to have it on, and those who want to give can give, and those who don't want to give they're just as welcome to be here. And which is why I always try to make sure that I'm answering questions whether or not people have attached, a monetary value to them. But you could say I'm streaming for cash because I am streaming and cash is coming in. So I wouldn't say that I'm not doing it. I just, like I said earlier, I just think that abusing it it's not, it's like abusing the land, If you're planting the same vegetable over and over again and you're overplanting, eventually you piss off Mother Earth and the land goes infertile, and then you can't plant anything. Everything has to be done in moderation. Everything has to be done with appreciation. That's all. But yeah, this apartment, market value for this apartment is $2,500 a month, and it's one room that's 11 feet by 13 feet. I had an apartment in New York City before I lived here that was, that one market value was $7,000 a month. I wasn't paying that, and I had a partner who was splitting it, but we were paying at that time like $4,000 a month. Rents here are insane. But you know what they say? Location, location, location. If you want to be in the center of the world, you're going to pay to be in the center of the world. Thank you, Dexeridix. Thank you very much. And man, I really want to, and I feel like, I've been ranting. I hate to rant. I don't like to rant on streams. I like to keep it super positive and super fun. And I feel like I've ranted a little bit. So let's get a really good, fun question to leave us all in a good mood. Um, let's see. Hmm. Okay. So Penny Dreadful says, "We love you for that. Thank you for making me not feel as excluded and unwelcome as other fan bases have. I feel you go out of the way to make fans feel. I feel you go out of the way to not make fans feel unworthy." Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for your kind words. I think so. I guess we'll leave it this. I've heard that there are fan bases that aren't nice, and I've heard that there are fan bases that are unwelcoming. And in fact, I'm sure you have all had moments within the Gothic subculture where people are like, "You're doing it wrong," or "You're the wrong race to be involved in this," "You're the wrong gender to be involved in this," "You're the wrong weight, the wrong height," these kinds of things. That's rubbish. That is rubbish. So, for starters, I always want to make it very, very clear that on my channel and in my streams and on the Lair of Voltaire and in Gothic Homemaking, just as in my concerts and in my real life, everyone is welcome. Everyone who is kind and respectful. Don't get me wrong, I don't suffer fools. I don't suffer trolls. I don't suffer people who bully others. I don't suffer any of that nonsense. Let me take a break. Anne asked me if I could say happy birthday. Wow. I mean, I really want to say happy birthday to this person, but that's a really hard name to say, and I want to get it right. Kia Samathenu. Kia Samathenu. Did I get that right? Happy birthday, Kia Samathenu. I hope I did that right. I really hope I got that right. In any case, I think that kind of attitude. I mean, I'm just not into that kind of attitude. I had a shocking experience on my Instagram because I woke up one morning, 4 p.m. And I woke up to my notifications of Instagram. There was an argument going on. This never happens on my social media or on my YouTube. There's bullying. I'm so quick to destroy anybody who comes here to make fun of you, to put you down, to say that you don't belong here. You're not cool enough to be here. You're not this enough to be here. I am so quick to shut those people down because I so diametrically disagree, and I'm diametrically opposed with that mentality, that I woke up to some ugliness that had happened on my Instagram page, and it was a disgusting, disgusting person who was saying transphobic things to somebody who follows me on Instagram. So, I have a private page. I have to accept you. So I have accepted this piece of filth. And by the time I'd woken up, they had already said a bunch of nasty things, and I immediately deleted and blocked them. And the person they were talking to said, "Oh, I first of all, I said, I have to apologize. Like, my page is not the place where you should ever read that kind of filth. This is not the place. That is not welcome. It is not tolerated, and I will not suffer bullies, and I certainly will not stand idly by while one of you is being bullied by someone else on my social media. I just won't stand for it." And this person wrote back, "Oh, don't worry, I knew you'd nuke them." That made me laugh so hard. "Don't worry, I knew you'd nuke them." Yeah, I don't stand for that. Everybody is welcome here, but I only ask for one thing, and that is mutual respect, that you respect people. You disagree with someone's opinion, you can say, "You disagree with my opinion." You can say, "I disagree with you," and if you want to discuss, we can discuss also, but it has to be from the perspective of two human beings who respect each other, even if they don't see eye to eye. And that's all I really ask for here. Crystal says, "At the beginning you said this is the April 2020 video, but Please correct this. No one wants to still be in last year. Oh, it is April. Yeah. Oh, 2020. Oh, I'm so foolish. Yes. Yes, Crystal. You are 100% correct. It is not 2020. But I'm senile, and that's how it came out. So my apologies. It's actually 2021, everybody. It is all about respect, inner force historian. Respect is very, very important. And to tell you something, I'm rambling at this point, and I apologize, but in this age where if someone's in the wrong political party, they get banned and wished into the cornfield. If somebody has the wrong ideologies, if someone's the wrong religion, if someone's the wrong skin color, like people find reasons. People find reasons to put up these terrible, terrible barriers that shouldn't be there at all. I was so heartened. I was so heartened by watching Jimmy Kimmel a couple of nights ago, and he had the pillow guy, Mike Lindell, I think his name is. So here's a guy who's a conspiracy theorist, and he is extremely conservative. And not only is he extremely conservative and a conspiracy theorist and very, very much on one side of the political spectrum, Jimmy Kimmel's been straight up been making fun of this guy on his show for the better part of the last 4 years. And they basically started talking about each other on their own corresponding shows. And one thing led to another, and it led to an interview. And it was the most beautiful thing in the world to see a hyper liberal guy interviewing a hyper conservative guy. They cannot possibly be further apart from each other ideologically. And it was civil. And they made jokes and they laughed together. And that is how change happens. Change doesn't happen by saying, you're different, I don't like you, I hate you, and you're blocked. That's not how change happens. Change happens when you can share a laugh, share a song, share a drink, say, I don't agree with you. In fact, I think what you're saying is terrible, and you really shouldn't do those things. But if you can find that middle ground where you can have a laugh together, believe me, people start to undemonize you, and then they start to look at your life and go, that person seems fairly well adjusted. They may not be so bad. And before you know it, you are swaying the hearts and minds of human beings who maybe never thought that you'd be a source of good information. And I'm going to leave it on that. Crusader Lightsaber says, hi there, Voltaire. I've been a huge fan ever since Adventure Quest, and I love listening to all your music and positivity. Keep being you. I am certainly going to try, Crusader. I am certainly going to try, with your help and with your support and with your love and with your respect. It keeps me going. So stay tuned. There's a lot more Black Labyrinth coming, and there's a lot more Gothic Homemaking coming your way. See you. Thank you for spending this hour and a half with me. It's been a lot of fun. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. This is the awkward part where I can never turn off the damn phone. Yes.